What's going on, YouTube? It's Matt Faircloth. Welcome to the Mentorship Monday program. Justin, come on board.
Hey, our guest come on today is Mr. Jacob Reznicki. Jake, what is up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing,
What's
Jake?
going on, guys? I'm extremely excited to be here. And real quick, if I could just say, I've seen the trajectory of the DeRosa Group over the past 2 years going straight up. So if you want to be on any type of similar trajectory, DeRosa Insiders is the place to be. So,
Thank you.
I'm pumped to be here.
Jake, we first met at our local RIA, and Jake he's energetic, he's hungry, he's got a lot of questions. He's looking to start his investing portfolio at such a young age. And so we want Jake to be part of this, and he's got questions. So sorry, I jumped in. Jake, answer Matt's question.
I'm going to answer Jake's question.
We're there.
I'm doing good. That's I guess that's the answer to Matt's question. I've been keeping myself busy over the past couple of months at On Air Brands with PodMax. All that is really exciting. But like you said, I'm still on the cusp of starting my real estate portfolio. And that kind of ties into my question today. And I don't know if you guys are ready to get into that.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Bring it on, Jake. How can we help you? How can we brighten your day, man?
So you can see it on the screen now. So Bigger Pockets, they mention their core 4 people a lot of times. I've seen it in a few books and I've seen it in a few videos. They reference the core 4 as the deal finder, the lender, the property manager, and the contractor. These 4 people, obviously, they're really important and they could be applicable to any real estate deal. But are these always going to be the people that you need on your team in any given deal? And once you identify who the people that you really need in order to get started and get on your way, how do you get into a conversation with them that they take you seriously and that they don't think that they don't dismiss you because of your lack of experience or your lack of portfolio or repertoire?
Okay. It's funny. As much as all the contributing I've done for biggerpockets.com and all that stuff, man, I've never heard of the core 4. I love it. I like it. I like what they're talking about and all that. And Justin and I have a different 4 seats for multifamily. And that's similar, the people that find it, people that manage it. Then there's, the other 2 are not the same, but I think that what I would say is that those 4 people could all be vendors to you. That if I'm an operator, then there's me, and then there's those 4 people that need to be in my Rolodex. And that deal finder could be a realtor, could be a wholesaler, whatever. So I could see that. I think that equation plays on the typical Bigger Pockets, like at least 50% of the Bigger Pockets audience is doing deals that equate to like the BRRRR strategy, which is like the Brandon Turner single or small or super small multi, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units somewhere in there, south of 20 or 30 units kind of thing. And it's also single operator type of stuff, right? So if you're husband and wife combo or whatever, or as you are, I think that core 4 conversation works. As you scale and get into larger real estate, there are more complexities and more people that you need to invite on your team from a vendor relationship. I can tell you, Justin could tell you that our insurance broker becomes an extremely important team member, and I would hate to not include them on our vendor list. My lawyer becomes an extremely important team member once you get into bigger multi. And so I think that from a Bigger Pockets is phenomenal at simplifying conversations about something super complex like real estate, and giving them cool acronym names and coming up with like super general rules of thumb and things like that. Bigger Pockets is great at making things understandable by giving them acronyms and rules of thumb and all that, and wide spectrum explanations. This is another one, but I would not stop at 4. But it's probably more like the core 8, and all that. And I think that, again, to reiterate, it only plays if you're a single operator. What do you think, Justin?
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, the team that you have or need right now on day 1 is not the team that you're going to need on day 10 or day 100 or 300. And it's going to grow and change as you go. And so I would say that for anyone that's hearing, what Bigger Pockets is saying, absolutely important to know people that can get you people. And that, I think, is the clearest way I could say it, in that, Jake, people who are active in the area that you want to be active in, who have connections to contractors, to lawyers, to someone that you can call and say, hey, Justin, I need a lawyer. I found a deal. I need a lawyer to help me through this, right? Well, you've got someone you can call for that answer. You don't need that all necessarily right up front, because you're going to call a lawyer and say, hi, I'm Jake. One day I'm going to have a house for you. I just wanted to talk to you. You don't really need to do that ahead of time. What you do need is to know someone that can make an intro for you when you're ready, right? And so you want to have a plan as far as, okay, I know, I'm going to need an attorney, but you don't necessarily have to go and try to line everyone up, because part of your concern is, how do they talk to me when I have no experience? Well, as soon as you have that deal, now you got something to talk about, right? As soon as you have an opportunity, you can talk real numbers and real information.
And I think that the one last seat that's absolutely necessary on the bus, they're on, to have on that core team, and that's left out of what you just said, is your network, your community of other real estate investors. And that could turn into mentors or potential partners. And that community could also be deal finders, and all that, but it also could be just people to bounce things off of. And that's definitely available through biggerpockets.com, through their forums and things like that. But no real estate investor that I know of operates in a vacuum, no successful one. That you really need your community, because so many different facets, so many different angles of real estate, that it's important to have your community to run things by. So, hey man, should I, do this or do that, or hey, do you got a good lawyer or whatever? For any number of things, to have access to people's Rolodex, or to just have people to run things by, or whatever it is. That's for all those reasons, I think that the core 4 concept is interesting, but I think it should very quickly be expanded beyond that. I think that any newish real estate investor that's doing smaller deals will need all 4 of those people, unless they're self-managing. If they're self-managing, then but yeah, those 4 people I think are necessary, but I think it's a way deeper bench than that. So
I think it'd be great if you start with the goal in mind and start working backwards. So if you have a goal to buy a rental property, let's say a BRRRR property in whatever town, right? Let's say it's a town close to you. Who is operating in that town that can help get you what you need, right? And so you join a local RIA, you volunteer, you get in with the people that are running that, who are well connected, who is well connected, who's flipping in that area, who's already doing the BRRRRs, right? Connect with those people, as I know you are doing, but others can do as well. But let's say you've got that goal. I want to buy a house that I can BRRRR, rent out. Maybe it's a house hack, whatever your goal is, and start working backwards. What do I need for that? Okay, well, how am I going to pay for this theoretical house? Do I need a private lender, or do I qualify on my own? How am I going to find this house? Do I have a realtor that knows the local area, or do I want to go the wholesale route, or do I want to do my own mailings? And if I'm going to do that, well, then what do I need to do my own mailings? I need to learn how to do it. I need to get the resources together. I need to know what goes into a good letter. And you start to sort of build out a plan by working backwards, answering all these questions, and then you start to realize where your gaps are. And that's the people that you can plug in, or the education that you can get, because there's certainly books and YouTube videos and things like that you can get to, but you'll start to realize the gaps that you have in your plan, and you start to fill it in.
Gotcha. And I think coming back on what I gather from all this is the plan kind of plays a big role in it, knowing who you're going to need and when you're going to need to talk to them. It's not about necessarily having everybody lined up, having all your ducks in a row, because it's hard to get all your ducks in a row. But like you said, Justin, once you find a deal, you have something to talk about. So kind of knowing who you'll need, but not necessarily having that conversation beforehand, but being there ready with a deal in hand.
It's a delicate balance. Same with analysis paralysis. It's sort of the same idea, where you get stuck in, do I know too much? Do I not know enough? How much do I need to know before I'm ready to move the next step? How many people do I have to have in place before I'm ready to move to the next step? I don't know. I might need someone tomorrow that I've never even thought about for my next deal. But I know a lot of people that are well connected in the places that I need to be connected. And so I do know that if someone calls me for, I need an appraiser in North Carolina, right? I know people in North Carolina that can probably find me an appraiser, right? So I'm connected to enough people that can, I don't need to have the answer for every possible scenario, for every possible type of person I might need to talk to. but having people
network
that can
gives you that.
help me. Exactly. Your network will help you.
That's why the network's the most important, because your network could probably give you all 4 of the other seats on the bus. Like, hey, John, you got a property manager in Kentucky? Yeah, I got a property. Yeah, he's this guy, or, I need a lender. I need my lender, my current lender seems to be jacking me. Can I get you somebody? Who else you got to borrow? Here you go. Right. So I think that the network is actually more important, because the network could produce those 4 things,
Right.
And that's why that would be my my final thought on the whole thing, is that it's really above all of it is your real estate network, your peer and your mentor network.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So I have one quick follow-up
Go
question,
ahead.
and it's kind of
Please.
going off of Justin's analysis paralysis relation that he made there. The one thing that I feel like a lot of new real estate investors run into the problem with is obviously money. And I know Matt is the guy to talk to about raising capital, and Justin has obviously done it himself as well. It's obviously tricky to go about contacting sellers if you're not 100% sure that you're going to have the financing to back it. And it's hard to reach out to lenders when you don't necessarily have a deal in hand. So how would you say balancing that works?
I think that it depends on what kind of deal structure you want to do, right? So if you're going to go and buy the BRRRR strategy deal or the beater fixer upper to buy a property at a beater price and fix it up and make it a really nice property and refinance it to pull that capital out, right? Or if you're going to go and try and buy a smaller mid-sized multifamily like Justin and I are doing and bring in equity investors, then either way you need to determine. And my book, Raising Private Capital, easy plug there. My book talks about which investors better suit those seats and those business plans, right? My book will tell you about angling around whether you want to go debt or equity. Then you want to line those people up ahead of you finding a deal. And again, the book tells you how to do that too, about just getting some people in place to say, hey, Joe or Sally, whatever. If I produce a deal that looks like this, would you be open to loaning me money at, I don't know, 10% interest or something like that? Would you open to invest? If I could find something that could make you a reasonable cash on cash return on your money, would you happen to have $50K you could give to me to put on my deal? Get the yeses first. Okay. Not signed agreements, the verbal. Yes, sure. Right. I would. Right. Get yourself a half dozen of them at least, and then go find the deal. And that'll give you that level of confidence that you've got these investors that are standing behind you that are able to do the deal structure you want to do in that. And then once you find them, then you can move forward. But I don't agree that in this economy, it's important. I do agree that it's in this economy. It's very important to line these folks up first and not do it the other way, which is just find the deal, cross your fingers, hope the money shows up. Because I've seen closings can be very aggressive and people aren't going to give you 2 inches to close and like in extensions and things like that. So I would highly recommend you find the money in general, the general money that if I find something that meets, would you take a look at it? And then find the deal, send it off to all those people. And at least a few of them are going to say yes.
Just to take that one step further is, beyond just conversations, put a deal packet together. Could be the you find a house, the perfect BRRRR that just sold for X, and that you would put Y into it. Put that together and say, look, yeah, this house was in this town on this street. It sold for X. I would have bought it for here. I would have put $20,000 into it. Here's what the numbers would have looked like. Here's how I would have used your money. Here's how it's legal. Here's the common questions, and that way you get like that sort of early stuff out of the way of, is this legal? How am I going to get my money back? How do I sue you if I have to? Like all that kind of stuff that an investor might have in you, and they vet you, so that when you come back to them with the next deal packet for the real deal that you've got ready to go, you say, hey, this is just like that other deal, except here's the, the 7 things that are different, but all that other, the terms, like all that's done already. They've already answered those questions. Now you're ready to go.
That's a golden nugget for sure. I've never heard that before. Thanks for that,
Justin. Good question that just came in here. I want to address it real quick. This came from Sean. Sean, good question, man. How do you deal with jealousy? Jake, you're having to weigh on this too. How do you deal with jealousy between peers, family, and outsiders? Right. Unfortunately, due to jealousy, we have to hide our properties from everyone. That is causing growth to be harder for us. First of all, Sean, send that to helpme@derozagroup.com. We'd love to have you on the show. And
we could do a whole show on that.
Man, I could go for an hour and a half on that one because, like that's an interesting thing. So I got two responses. Haters are going to hate and you can't let a-holes hold you back in your growth for people that are going to hate on you for what you got and what you're building and everything like that. I've got people that have looked at what I've built as a business owner, and I can tell they're a little, man, these guys got this. I'm not going to let that hold me back on my growth, because people that are really my true friends that are aligned with what I'm doing and that are cheering for me no matter what are still my friends now that I've built what I've built, right? That's number one. Number two, I think that you might be making that bigger in your head that people are unless you've got true instances, maybe it is, but instances of people that are actually, straight up made comments or hated on you or whatever. The people have their own lives and everything like that. And I think that hopefully they're cheerleaders. And if they really are haters, then you got to watch who you hang out with, because at the end of the day, you are the sum of the people that you spend your time with. And if those people are all trying to pull each other down and hold each other back and not cheering for each other for success, that's not who I would want to hang out with, man.
Yeah,
go ahead,
no,
Jake. Go ahead, Justin and Jake. What do y'all got?
So, Sean, I would love for you, please email us. We would love to get into this topic.
I'd love to talk to you
about it. You said peers, family, and outsiders. So, outsiders, there's not much you can do about what an outsider says about what you're doing. And frankly, you shouldn't have to worry about that too much. Family, family's tough, and everyone's got different family dynamics. And so, if you have a family that is, for whatever reason, hating on your success or not wanting to hear about your properties, then, there's only so much you can do. And yeah, maybe you just don't talk about it as much. But your peers, you can pick your peers. You pick the people that you hang out with. And to Matt's point about the people that you're hanging out with and surrounding yourself with, if you're hanging out with people that are dragging you down or not motivated in the way that you're motivated, Sean, then you can build a new peer group, and you can go to masterminds, you can go to networking meetings and go to conferences and build up a new group. I used to be in a very similar spot. I found folks that prop me up and support me. And I then feel like I need to even be better to match what they're doing. And they push me. That is great, right? And nothing is better than feeling like they're cheering on your success, but also know you can do better and pushing you even further.
Jake, you want to throw something in?
Sure. I mean, I can really echo everything you guys are saying in terms of the 5 people you spend the most time with are largely going to be are going to feed into your attitude. And I'm going to quote Eric here real quick. How could I go for a live segment without quoting Eric? A rising tide lifts all boats. So if these people are punching holes in your boat, then maybe it's time to reanalyze and readjust accordingly.
Whose water you're putting your boat in, right?
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is and Dave, and we normally don't. I love having a few chats with some folks leaving comments. Normally we just ask folks to send them in, but this is such a viable conversation. I really wanted to address it. Dave had a comment here, which is interesting. You got to have a winning attitude, which made me think about what you just said, Jacob, about people punching holes in your boat. If you've got a winning attitude, if I am a winner and I'm winning in life, I am a winner and I'm winning in life and I have a winning attitude. And Justin can tell you most of the time I got a winning attitude, and it is contagious. People, when I come off like a winner, other people get that, and people want to associate and tie into other winners. And so because I come off like a winner, people want to be around me. People want to be around Justin, and Jacob's a winner too, right? Right. You got a winning attitude as well, Jacob, right? So at the end of the day, people want to be around winners. And so if you got people that are throwing rocks at you for your winning or whatever, you got the wrong people. But I think that it also goes back to your attitude, Sean, in that. So it goes back to, if you're building what you're building and you're building it with confidence and with a winning attitude, like, I'm not better than anybody, I'm just doing what I'm doing because I want to live a better life, and you can too. And you collaborate and share and teach them how to do what you're doing. You're going to build your network, and you're going to have and instead of haters, you'll have the biggest raving fans that you got.
Absolutely. So, and Dave, your latest comment, when you're young, it's an uphill climb and people not taking you seriously. Ties back into, something that Jake brought up earlier, which is, how do I have these conversations with attorneys and lenders who, when I don't have any experience? Well, bring something of value. If you've got a deal, the lender, the other people, they don't care. You got a deal. Let's go. Let's get to work. They're not asking you how old you are. They want to help you, right? Title company's not saying, "Oh, this guy's only 23. I don't want his business," right? You got to just go out there, put yourself out there, hustle, add some value, and bring something of value to the table.
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more successful young people come into this space. We've got a mutual team member, Justin, who's in his mid-20s, and he's crushing it.
Absolutely.
and all that. So cool. Jacob, thanks for being here. Sean and David, thanks for your contributions as well. Don't forget, guys, help me at DeRosaGroup.com is where y'all send your real estate questions if you want to get on the show live with us. All right.
Hey,
Thanks, you
Jake,
guys.
stay on.
I
I'm
really
going to drop you down,
appreciate
but stay on there, Jake. Hold on. Hey,
Thanks for watching, guys, and have a
have
great,
a great
profitable week.
week.